So what's good with y'all boys, man? This is the truth about the friend zone. The truth about the friend zone. Alright, boys. Let's see if he's speaking facts or not.
Weeks ago, I met this girl who instantly became obsessed with me. I walked up to her, looked in her eyes, and started talking to her like a friend. And the weird part is I put no effort. I didn't try to flirt with this girl. Yet, she came on to me unlike almost anything I've seen before. And ever since that day, whether it was when we were hanging out, whether it's texting me on the phone, she has been absolutely obsessed with me. And this brought to my attention the idea of the friend zone. Because I used to get put in the friend zone a lot, although the friend zone doesn't even exist. And let me explain exactly what I mean by that. So after meeting this girl, and honestly many girls before her, I realized the friend zone is only real for a certain type of person. And I really hope this isn't you, but I want you to really think if it might be, because this is who I was, and by changing it, my life got better. I gained over 3 million followers, started a brand that's #1 on Amazon, made over $1 million using social media, and I pretty much can attract the girls that I want in my life. Now, I don't even say this as a way to have an ego or flex. I say it as a way to give you motivation, because when you look at me, I'm an average guy. But why is it so easy for me nowadays than it was before? Well, the answer comes
3 million subs, 1 million something. Average guy, nigga. Do you hear yourself, my nigga?
really down to the simple basic things of looks, money, and status. These are the three things that will not only transform your dating life, but it will transform your day-to-day life, the way people treat you, and the ease of life that you actually have.
I agree. Looks, money, and status will change the way people treat you. Agreed. You'll probably get more looks. If you're on dating apps, probably get more swipes. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, bro, if you got no game, you got no game. Looks, money, and status is only going to keep the shorty around for a long, not even long, short, period of time. Like, if you have no game, bro, you're cooked, bro. You're getting played, nigga. You're losing your money. You're cooked. You're actually so cooked.
Now, let's go back.
But let's
because
see what he
I
says,
didn't used to be like this. I didn't used to have it so easy. I didn't even used to be able to talk to a camera with no edits or anything like this. I have no script or nothing. I say this because I have conviction in the things that I say. I truly believe them, and not only that, I know them to be true. So let's go all the way back to when I was a lot younger. When I was in school, I had a crush on this girl ever since I was a little kid. I will never forget her, and I hope she doesn't see this because she probably knows who she is. But I would think about her almost every single day, and it was almost like the same thing as how I felt towards this girl that is now obsessed with me. It's like I went, and we started out as friends, and over time I started to like fall deeply in love, but it was like a one-way street because she didn't feel the same about me. Now the question is, why didn't she feel the same? I feel like the answer really comes down to the most simple, basic, fundamental thing. The way that I looked. It was that simple. It wasn't only the way that I looked, but it's also the value that I had. Even though we were very young, this is on a subconscious level. The clothes you wear as a kid. If you have higher end clothes, your classmates, the people around you, will see this as a sign of status, money, or whatever the case may be. And even teachers notice this. I remember even noticing teachers treating the kids who looked better or dressed better than the other kids. I even remember this one teacher who I had who almost made fun of like one of this like sort of outcast kids behind their back. And I'm talking little, like young kids. So to go back to the point, when it comes to the girl that was obsessed with me, this is a feeling that I only feel nowadays and I never used to feel back then. Because this one girl that I had the crush on my entire life was the complete opposite. She had me in what I thought was the friend zone, but that's not what it is. What the friend zone actually is, because by the way, it doesn't exist, it's really just a girl who is attracted to parts of you, but not the entirety of you, whether it's your looks, money, or your status. And even at a young age, you notice this. Now, as we grew older, I noticed something had changed. With this girl who I had a crush on, it seemed that she
likes the benefits of you and what she could get out of the interaction. That doesn't have to include sex.
To like me more, the more that I improved my money and status. Yet the thing is, I grew up poor. So in my household, me basically being poor was something that repelled her. Aside from that, I didn't look the best, and I didn't actually have much status because I wasn't that popular. But if I had one of these things, even when I was in school, I think that this girl would have liked me. Now, what changed so much? Well, after I got rejected by this girl, I then went on this whole journey of like going to the gym and doing all of the cope things that people do nowadays. I thought that this would improve my life, and I would say it did, but not in the way that I wanted because I was hurt due to girl issues, not due to anything else other than that.
Yep.
So I thought that going to the gym would help, and I think most guys do. But realistically, if you're not improving your looks, money, or your status, it's not going to help. And you might be thinking, going to the gym will improve my looks. It will improve your body. But that's actually not what people look at. People look at your...
I mean, you're saying improve looks, money, and status. If you go to the gym, it's going to improve your looks. Hands down. Like, you go to the gym... You get skinnier, people are going to notice. You get a six-pack, you look bigger, you look stronger, people are going to notice. Now, what you're about to say, I probably do agree on when it comes to the clothes, because I feel like that's what you're going to say. So I do agree on that. And then you said money. Yeah, you gotta upgrade that. You also got to upgrade your status. But how can you get money if you're not smart enough? Meaning, how can you get money if you're not knowledgeable on the things you need to be knowledgeable on? So really, in between the looks, money, and status, I feel like you need to add knowledge somewhere in there. Looks, knowledge, money, and status. Because looks, knowledge, money, and status, because without knowledge, for say the looks, money, or status, you can't really, what are you going to do? What can you possibly do without the knowledge of it?
Face.
What's good,
Which is
Oxy?
why
My
in the description below I made this community where I give you systems on sleep, diet, and everything of the sort so you can actually improve your face, not just your body. And although body is important, you'd be surprised how little people actually care about it compared to your face. And I saw this firsthand in every aspect of my life that changed. As soon as I got into the gym, like I said, I thought I would see a change, but I didn't. But simultaneously, when I started going to the gym, I started improving my looks, and I started improving my money and my status.
What kind of food?
These three things were all unintentional, and you were told your entire life that they don't matter.
Yeah, it's my
But
reaction.
the only reason you get land in the friend zone is for one of these three reasons. Now, like I said, the friend zone doesn't exist, so let me explain a little further on that. All the friend zone truly is a girl who would date you if you had one of these or all of these three things better in check. So if you have money and status, but you don't look good, you might get landed in the friend zone. If you have looks, you honestly might not, because looks, I would say, are the most important thing on the hierarchy of dating.
Money or status, you might get put in the friend zone. I disagree, bro. You probably, like I said, it comes down to really game, bro. You might just suck at game, bro. Like, we all know bitches love money and status. Boom. Don't be tricking out here, my nigga. But if you have money and status, especially status, nigga, it don't matter about your looks. I mean, look at Neon, bro. Look at Neon. That's a perfect example. Look at Neon. It does not matter about your looks. So I do disagree with that. You probably just not man enough to say it, or you got no game.
But when it comes to absolutely everything else, you still won't be treated properly. It is absolutely quintessential to have all of these things and a personality and everything, because we are in the day and age where social media has globalized the market for anything, whether it comes to getting a job, whether it comes to dating, anything that you want to do.
Agreed.
Which is why I preach these things. I didn't see a difference in my life until I had all three of these things. Until I became a millionaire using the internet, gained over 3 million followers.
Now, do I agree if Neon worked on his body, he would get treated different? 1,000%. So looks do add up in some way. But I disagree. Just because he's missing one, he's not going to get that. Nah, disagree.
Have a #1 best-selling Amazon brand and improved my looks. Only now I experienced the difference. And I thought that I was experiencing it once I went to the gym, because I noticed I got some more girl attention and everything like this. But that was only the first beginning and the first taste of it. Because once I started fixing my hair, my face, and everything like this, I noticed a difference. But it's nothing like how I feel right now. Nowadays, in any scenario that I enter, I would say in the last year and a half, there hasn't been a girl that I've had any sort of romance with that hasn't become obsessed with me. And the reason is because it's nearly impossible to repel somebody that has these things. Because regardless of what you say or what anybody tells you, because by the way, you've been lied to most likely, if you have looks, money, and status, even just a lot of one of them, even if you just have a lot of money or a lot of status or you look really good, even having just one of them at a high level makes you pretty desirable to most people.
Yeah, okay.
Now we're told.
So how does that work with when you said, oh, if he doesn't have one? All right, you're right. If you have one that's higher than the other, like I just said, you could get by. But you still need game. Hands down.
That these other unimportant traits matter so much. For example, your personality. I'll tell you right now, your personality is important, but it's one of the easiest things to improve. One of the harder things to improve is your looks, money, and status, which is why I feel like you're being led astray when people tell you how important these other things are. So let's just explain what happens when it comes to these girls becoming obsessed with me. And like I said, I don't say this with ego. I only say it because it's an experience that I've had. And I truly believe with conviction that it's because I improved these three things. So once I started talking to this girl, she quickly found out that I had a large following, which, by the way, can be a good or a bad.
I mean, like, when it comes down to fucking, for example, yeah, your looks, you do need looks. Like, no bitch is gonna date no ugly nigga. But perfect example is Neon, but he has no game. A nigga could be the fattest nigga in the world, bro, and have that game, and that be able to just have that game, and they'll be good. And this, I say this because it's like this: women don't look at looks as much as guys do. When you get with a woman, it's all about the mind. It's not about the look so much. I could be the ugliest nigga, but if I could get in her mind and I can keep her thinking about me and she goes home thinking about me, I've won the game. You know what I'm saying?
That thing. And then she found out that I had a lot of money. And then she found out, well, the first thing she found out was that she liked the way I looked, at least to some level. Because she showed interest before she even knew of any of those things. But those other two things backed the looks to a level where it became essentially something that is absolutely desired. Now, the thing is when it...
Like, for example, the money and status. I think you want them to have a genuine attraction to you. But Neon has money. I think you want them to have a genuine attraction to you. It's like this. Yeah, exactly. You do want them to have a genuine attraction. But this is what I was going to say. When it comes down to, like, say you have money or status, we know as men, it takes a hard time to get that. It takes ambition. One of the things girls love about a man is he has ambition to go get his dreams, chase his dreams, and make it in life. Make it bigger and bigger and bigger and become one of the top tier people. Ambition is one attraction that women love. So how do you get money? You have to have ambition. You have to have the wits. You have to be able to lead. Women want someone who's a leader. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have the looks, but you can lead, you got ambition to chase your dreams, and on the side, you know how to spit a little game, you're in the bag too. There's more, of course. There's more. But they get attracted to that type of stuff. The ambition. Can he lead? Does he take charge? Does he go for his dreams? Shit like that.
When it comes to looks, I'm not even saying that I'm the best looking. It's simply improving myself from where I was to being even slightly above average, if you would consider me that. Even if I'm there, that's enough to actually have this sort of authority that I never had before. So now, what happens most of the time, the story goes exactly the same. I run into a girl in any scenario, whether it's at a party, whether it's at an event, whether it's in public, it doesn't matter. And even if they're only slightly attracted to me at the start, they fall into an obsession. Now, with that being said, this isn't every girl I walk by on the street or by any means that. It's any girl that I have any sort of romance with. So if I approach a girl, if a girl approaches me, anything like that, then it becomes to this level. It's not like you just walk by anyone, because to get to that point, you have to be like an 8 out of 10 attractive or 9 out of 10 attractive. People will throw themselves at you at that point. Now, I will admit, there are often times where girls tend to throw themselves at me nowadays, which I never would have thought would even happen before. Now, is it because they know about my following? Is it because of my looks? That's the question. besides the point, if you're not improving these things, you will not only get left behind in dating, but you will get left behind financially, status-wise, and your quality of life will be harmed significantly.
Now, I do agree with that. If you're not trying to improve your status, looks, or money, at some point, just how the game goes. You can have the most game in the world. And the girl's going to look at you and say, I mean, you got the ambition. You can smooth talk me. You could talk me. You nice with your words. You good in bed. But what are you doing with your life? Why are you still in the same spot? Why didn't we elevate? Why didn't we grow? Why didn't you lead me to a better place? So I do agree with him on that. If you're not upgrading this, looks, money, and status, you are going to get left behind at some point.
And anybody who tells you the lie of personality or anything of the sort, to an extent, I don't think they have bad intentions, because it's what we've all been told. But if I were to come on here and put you in the right mindset of the things that you should be focusing on, well, that would change your life. And it did for me. Once I saw a video like this is what put me on the trajectory that I needed to be on. It started out by watching a video and then going to the gym, as I said, improving my looks and everything like this. And that's when it was like a big snowball. It was almost like a big boom effect of I got looks, money, and status all at the same time. Now, like I said, I just went from being ugly to slightly above average, which means if you're watching this, you probably have more potential than me. I looked horrible, and now I look slightly above average. But for me, that was enough to change my life in every way possible. And the thing is, through this, over the last 5 years, I've learned absolutely everything there is to know about these things. And I'm continuously learning. I'm not saying I know everything, but I know so much more than the average person on these things that I can almost spot someone out of a crowd and be like, this person could have a life that they've always wanted if they just tried, or if they just knew the right things. Because even if you're trying to get a good personality, you're increasing a stat that doesn't have any bearing. A really good example of this is when I used to game all the time. I used to play this game called Madden, which is like football, American football for anyone watching. And the one important stat, whenever you would play this game, the most important stat was speed. Because if you were fast, regardless if you could catch a football or do anything else, if you were fast, you would run right past the person trying to cover you. You would catch the ball and get a touchdown. I look at it the same way when it comes to increasing your looks. If you improve any stat first, it should be this, which is why I made the community, which is linked in the description, where I help people one-on-one, but also why I created the free newsletter that's in the description. So even people who don't pay anything whatsoever. It's because I am trying to put more people on the wave of understanding that attraction equals ease of life. Your life will never get easier if you become more ugly.
I agree with him on that too now. Your looks, hands down, will make people treat you a different way. And I don't know why people don't understand that. If I look good and my body's in shape, they say, damn, that man takes care of himself. But if I'm fat and out of shape, they say something's wrong with that guy right there. Something's wrong with him. He don't work hard enough. And we subconsciously judge people like that all the time.
Your life will get significantly easier if you become attractive, because having looks, money, and status are all tied together, with looks being almost a prerequisite to the ease of getting the other two. I'm not saying it's impossible to get rich if you're ugly or impossible to get status if you're ugly, but the difference of where you are now versus having that money and status, it's almost like it's shortening the distance and how fast you can get there. Because if you were an 8 out of 10, let's just say, which by the way is extremely, extremely rare, my system is actually based in reality and not based on the average system. So just for example, if a girl comes up to you and calls you a 7 out of 10, realistically, she's calling you anywhere from like a 5 to a 5.5. What she should say is that you're a 5 out of 10. But nobody will say that because their scales are inaccurate. So based on that, if a 5 is average, aka a 5 being what most people would call a 7, I believe that I'm like a 5.5. Now, with that being said, the average person is 5. So even increasing by half a point changed my life. Now, like I said, I think I was ugly. So I think I increased by about 1 point from 4.5 to 5.5. And now I have an amazing life. I get pretty much any of the girls that I want. And when I do get girls, they become obsessed with me. I've been able to become a millionaire at 20 years old. and gain over 3 million followers by increasing by 1 point.
Now, what he's explaining, if y'all niggas don't understand, is by tackling one piece of the pie, get you closer to the other pieces of the pie, and you'll want to go harder and work harder. But looks didn't get him everything. But attacking looks and going for it got him closer.
Now, with that being said, back to the point, an 8 out of 10 is a lot higher than you think. An 8 out of 10 is something that you don't see, and you might not ever even see it in your entire lifetime because of how rare it is, unless you see them online. These are the people who can post their face and gain a following without saying a word, just showing their face. So the reason I bring this point up so frequently is because even in the topic of this video, the friend zone, if you were an 8 out of 10, this doesn't exist to you. Honestly, I would argue if you're a 6 out of 10, this borderline doesn't exist to you. You have to mess up the other things like status and money very, very poorly for this to matter. But if you're even a 6 out of 10, you basically have beat the friend zone for any category of woman, regardless. Not to mention all the other things you get. I would actually argue that the things you get from becoming attractive, the women are on the very, very, very bottom of this. Not to throw any shade at women, and I'm not one of these red pill guys. I'm saying that they're on the bottom in the sense of how easy it is to get these things. Because if you're a 6 out of 10, getting a girl is no longer even a thought that goes through your head. It doesn't even like exist to you. Now, once you're a 7, you're already past the girl threshold. That's where you get to like the status threshold. You can become famous by posting your face. You don't have to say anything. Posting your face, taking no time, no energy, no effort. And due to that status, then money becomes a lot easier. So if you're 8 out of 10, girls were all the way down here when it comes to how easy it is to get. For example, the new streamer who just like blew up, his name is Marlon. You can look him up. Any girl he wants. It's like he doesn't have to say a word and they're already there. The thing is, it becomes that easy for everything. So social media, once it gets to that point, you don't even have to try. You just post your face and you already have it. It's not even something that you have to think about. Now, somebody like me who was below average for a majority of my life is something that actually made it so I understand these things. Somebody who is very attractive will never even understand the concept of the effort it takes to get a girl or the effort it takes to go viral on social media or really even the effort it takes to get rich if you're good looking enough. Now, most people will never reach the rich thing because looks alone for most people won't get you there. But if you can get the status, aka the following on social media and everything like that, it becomes a lot easier. So it's very rare that you come across somebody who just has money unless their parents were rich, because you have to be so unbelievably attractive for it to become easy to you. Getting money is one of the few things. Now, when you're somebody like me who was below the threshold, because like I said, it's almost like this. I would say a 5.5 out of 10 makes girls become an easy target. It's an easy thing. It's not a challenge anymore. Once you become, I would say 5.5 or a 6 out of 10. Now, in my life, I was here, meaning I had to try to get all of these things, which I would argue in the position that I'm in now was a good thing, because now I can teach guys who are either in my position or who are on a similar level to me how I did it and how to do it faster and easier, which is once again why I made this school community that's now small, by the way, and I actually have it on like this discounted price, which is going to end up going up the more people that join. So as soon as we hit 100 members, it's going to increase significantly. But while it's still small, I like to help people one-on-one as much as possible. And the reason that I think I can be so helpful is because most people start here. They start at the average. This is average. This is where you most likely are, whether it's slightly above or slightly below, regardless of the point. You have to increase to get the easy aspect of these things. So back to the friend zone topic, just to explain this to you. The reason that I say the friend zone doesn't exist is because it actually does for some people, but not for the people who improve the stat of their looks. And then once you get the look,
that shit don't exist for me because I don't make that shit exist. A girl cannot put me in the friend zone. And y'all should take this into account. Like, a girl cannot put me in a friend zone. It's either I fuck with you or I don't. And if I'm trying to fuck with you and be on another level, I'm not going to be your friend. There's no calling me friend, bro, none of that. Like, you got to be direct with the girl. Like, this is what I want. This is how I'm coming. I'm not your friend. I'm not your bro. Like, you dig what I'm saying? Right off the bat, she says, bro, what are you doing? I'm not your bro. I feel like people are not direct. Men are not direct to the girl and let them know that straight at hand. And that's how they end up seeping in the friend zone and be like, oh, she likes me. She's texting me. No, you let her call you bro too much. What you doing? You let her put you in the friend zone. Maximum defense against you. And she stole the ball. The ball stole the ball. Make it make sense, bro. The ball didn't let the shot go in.
Looks, you get the money and the status, they kind of come a lot easier. And then it gets to a point where girls putting you in the friend zone doesn't really exist so long as you have some level of romance with them. And that's the point that I'm at right now. Any girl within the last, like I said, year and a half that I have any level of romance with, I've had zero trouble keeping them. Zero trouble maintaining the relationship. Zero trouble. It's like a more so of a one-way street. And I'm not even that attractive. I'm slightly above average. So if you want the friend zone to not exist for you, I think you should start at the base level of looks. And
agreed. Start at looks, but it's not all about looks.
Improving your face specifically. Going to the gym will get you more status actually from guys, which is a common occurrence you see all the time. Yet it seems like guys don't ever seem to pick up on this. When you, I guess, build your physique, more guys will respect you. Yep. Now, it's not to say that that's not valuable, because it is, for blowing up on social media for status purposes. But when it comes to looks, the looks category, I genuinely would argue, is mostly your face and like your height, for example. The reason I don't talk about height much is because it's very hard to change without doing things like steroids while you're still like 14, 15, 16, crazy things like this. So that's why I talk about face the most, because it's majority just face and height. Those are like the two things. So if you can improve one, obviously the one that actually has more control, I would say, is your face, but it really depends. Just for example, if you're still young while you're watching this, and when I say young, I'm saying either early 20s or in your teens, you actually have more potential to improve than anybody who's over the age of, I would say, 25. Reason being is your face is still malleable. The bones are still malleable. You can still change things about your face on a significant level while you're this age, which is why in the community I give you a sleep system and a diet system, because if you lock in on these things while you're still young, you will actually reap more benefits, significantly more than somebody who's only a little bit older than you, let's say 25.
Bro's W play.
And the reason this is so important is because if you start young, not only is it going to make you look better in the moment, but as you're developing and as you grow into who you are going to be, it's going to make you look significantly better than you could have looked. And not only that, typically when you start habits at this age, you keep them for a lot longer, whether they're good or bad.
Yeah.
So if you start these habits now, you're going to subtly become looking better and better and better over time until eventually you look your max potential, whatever that may be, whether you're 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 5 out of 10, it doesn't matter. You will be below that level of potential if you start at an older age, if that makes any sense to you. Which is why in the community I give these things. And I'm actually working on a guide specifically for teenager facial development, because certain habits will actually lead you to have a better developed face as you're older, but you can only start it while you're a teenager. In the guide, in the community, I also have a guide specifically on starting social media, because once you look good, it's a no-brainer to start social media. It is a no-brainer. The competition's only going to get worse and harder. But the better that you look now, the easier it is to start. And starting social media, I would argue, is the easiest way to make money in today's day and age by a long shot. And the best part, the part that's kind of in your favor, is that the good-looking people are the ones who take up all the market. I would say it's an 80-20% rule, where 80% of the guys don't, or how should I say this? I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that the people who look good take up 80% of the winning market, and then the 20% are the people who don't look as good. But even those people have it worse than the good looking people. The reason being is because it's harder for them to sell things, whether that be a product, whether that be anything. Just for example, my number one best-selling product on Amazon, this is my brand Simpletics. I wouldn't be able to be number one on Amazon had I looked worse than I do right now. At least like say 1 point lower. I want you to think about that. This brand makes close to $600,000 per month revenue, not profit, but revenue. And I wouldn't make that money if I looked even 1 point worse.
Yeah, if you look dusty,
so
bro.
Think about what you could do if you looked 1 point better. Could you start a business like this? Could you have a social media following? Could you actually make money online without having to slave away at a job every single day? That's not to say that jobs are horrible,
Bro,
but once again, it always.
but looks is not gonna get you to where you want to go, bro. It's gonna make you get more respected. Yes, agreed. So that's gonna help you. Gonna make you feel good. How you feel is how you play. Yes, that's gonna help you. That's a big part that's gonna help you. That's mandatory, Jim. But just because I look good, niggas is not. Maybe if I have a 8-pack abs, yeah, social media on fitness, yeah. But if I try to go sell fucking bean bags and I got 8-pack abs, they're gonna be like, they're gonna click on it. But if the shit sucks, the shit sucks. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Always goes back to the argument of how easy is it going to be, and there's nobody in the world that would tell you that they want a harder life and can honestly say that. There's no one. There is not a single person, because realistically, even the people who are disciplined, even the people like David Goggins, if you know who that is, realistically, the reason they do these hard things, like David Goggins, if you don't know who he is, he's like this motivational speaker that talks about like he likes to punish himself and give himself hard challenges and everything like this. Even somebody like that would still choose an easy life over a hard life. And the reason I say that is because he has the free will to choose to make his life the way that he does. He goes on like these mile-long or 100-mile like sprees of like running and stuff like crazy. Not 100 miles like in a row, but you get the point. He does these crazy things because he has free will to do so. He has the money to back it. So even somebody like him who is all about being hard is still going to choose the easy life because he's living the easy life, believe it or not, by doing these hard things. What we do as humans is we just do whatever has rewarded us in the past. So if being better looking, if going on runs, for example, for David Goggins had made him more money, subconsciously or consciously, he's going to do it more often because it'll make him more money. Now, back to the main topic of the video, because all of these things are interconnected and they're just as important to learn as the other. But back to the friend zone topic and why it doesn't exist. Like I said, it actually does, but only for people who don't take the advice from this video. So what you need to do is watch this video and just take action. Whether it's joining the community below of like-minded young men trying to go to the same direction, whether it's joining the free newsletter below, whether it's getting off this video and doing something productive with your life.
I love his message. Get the looks, get the money, get the status. But nigga, if you got no game, you got no game and you suck. Loser, cornball, corny.
If you don't show action from this, it's going to be...
And hands down, bro. Looks, money, status, cool. But I stress the game so much because you got to learn how to fish as the fisherman. And we never ask a fish how to fish. And friend zones exist, like he said, for the people who want it. You direct where the fuck you want this shit to go. You direct if you get in a friend zone, and you direct if you're not in a friend zone. The same way you direct your life. She calls you bro, like I said. What do? Answer. Good answer. You don't let her call you bro, because that gets you in the friend zone. She says, that's my friend. Oh, I'm not your friend. You don't let her call you friend. And if she thinks something totally different, you got to talk to her and be direct and be like, nah, I want something different. She says, I don't want that. You got to be willing to walk away and not be friends. I didn't come here for that. A lot of y'all be soft and be like, well, she wants to be my friend, so I'll stick around until I get the pussy. Like, no, bro. You look corny, bro. Stop. Get some help. Like, nah, don't do that shit. That's just irritating me right now. Don't do that shit, bro.
Be very hard for me to help you or for anyone to help you.
Do not do that.
You need to take action when you see things like this, because this is a rare occurrence. This video is not made to get views. And I say that wholeheartedly. I have a YouTube channel with almost 1 million subscribers. That one I try to get views. This one I do not. This one I try to get people who I think I can actually help, which is why I'm not editing this video. I don't edit a video like this because I know that people who are genuinely trying to help themselves will still watch it without the edits.
Hands down. Shout out to Dylan Advance, bro. Go subscribe to him. We're going to subscribe to him. Shout out to Dylan Advance, bro. Tap in with him if you haven't already. Like, comment, subscribe. Disagree with some things, but he is right. Looks, money, status. Get to it. Start with the looks first. Feel good, you play good. But remember, it's all about that game. Watch another video. Man, what's up, PG family? If you would like to support the channel, go to the description below and click on the Patreon for the support. It would be very much appreciated. Besides that, go watch another video and let's get to this.